It is the last day of campaigns, and tonight we speak with some of the governorship candidates as all political parties conclude all partisan campaigns ahead of Saturdays. The NBA will also be speaking on the assessment of Saturday's elections preparation. And the Nigerian police force is giving a standing order on restriction of movements and the conduct of state-owned security outfits. Their activities have been suspended for the elections. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimaloye in Abuja. Let's begin by letting you know what the Inspector General of Police is saying. That's Mr. Usman Baba. Was ordered the restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, and other forms of transportation from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. on election day, that is Saturday. Similarly, the IG has reiterated the ban on all security aids to VIPs and escorts from accompanying their principals and politicians to polling booths and collation centers during the election. The IGP went further to bar state-established security outfits and privately owned outfits from participating in election security management. State-owned security outfits include the Benue State Community, Volunteer Guards, the Amotekun Corps, Ebubeagu, amongst others. And this is how it was captured when the spokesperson of the police, the public PRO, police PRO, Muyiwa Adejobi, earlier today gave a press conference in Abuja.
I want to assure you, all states, excluding the FCT, that we're not having elections, we have proper policing of electoral process. Our senior officers have been deployed. The Deputy Inspectors General of Police in charge of all our geopolitical zones have been on the field. These are very senior officers to be assisted by Assistant Inspectors General of Police. Commissioner of Police were even deployed to various senatorial districts where senior officers have been deployed to local government areas. We have done heavy deployment, and where we think we should have heavy deployment, we have done heavy deployment. Even as I speak with you, the IGP is still sending support to some commands, logistics, personnel, anti-riot equipment, and the like. So we have done what we should. We are optimistic we're going to have a seamless process on Saturday. We don't envisage any problem anywhere. But in case we might want to have deviants who might want to cause trouble anywhere, we are very ready for them. We have done deployment to take care of that. We have logistics to take care of that at the same time. So we don't envisage any problem. We're going to have a very good, seamless electoral process on Saturday across the country.
That is the police public relations officer, Muyiwa Adejobi. So much to talk about tonight, especially on the last day of campaign. So much of expectations on INEC security agencies. We'll be doing a whole lot of that between now and Saturday. But tonight we're getting some incisive, in-depth analysis and assessment of what INEC did, security operatives and agencies and authorities within their rank and file, what they did and the last time, and what we are to expect. Of course, your civic responsibility as a citizen. Before we get into all of that, and I have also on standby two governorship candidates in a different state of the Federation that will be talking to us. There are a lot of stories that we are monitoring for you, and these are your political roundup stories. My colleague here is standing by for that.
Thank you, Seun. Good evening, everyone. I am Victoria Longjon, and here are your political roundup stories for today. Hundreds of PDP members in Kwara State took to the major streets in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to be fair in Saturday's governorship and House of Assembly elections. Addressing journalists at the INEC office, the PDP governorship candidate appealed to the umpire not to be compromised in the process.
I've come here to ask INEC to give us assurance that what happened in the last election is not repeated.
The Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, has been joined by the Oyo North senatorial candidate of the Accord Party and the member representing Iseyin Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Honorable Shina Pele, for the governorship rally of the People's Democratic Party in Iseyin local government. The legislators are seen Governor Makinde as he campaigns in Iseyin, where he reminds the people that there is much more to benefit from his second term if voted again. A group of youth in Bauchi State have mobilized themselves in support of the APC governorship candidate, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar. The youth held a 1 million man march on the streets of Bauchi, asking the people to give the APC candidate a chance. The governorship candidates of the New Nigeria People's Party, Social Democratic Party, the People's Redemption Party and Action Alliance have refuted claims of stepping down for the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Governor Abdullahi Sule. In a joint press conference in Lafia, the candidates say they are rather considering an alliance between themselves in order to claim the highest seat of power in the state.
We wish to categorically state that none of us here is even remotely considering stepping down for the APC candidate.
And in Ogun State, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Ladi Adebutu, is urging his followers and supporters to go all out and vote for him and other candidates of the party in Saturday's governorship and House of Assembly election. He made the call while addressing hundreds of party supporters at a mega rally held in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. He appealed to the people of the state to remain calm as they come out to vote their conscience.
What we want you to do on Saturday is to open your arms, receive all the new entrants, and we vote in unison.
Governorship candidates of the Social Democratic Party, Young Progressives Party, Action Alliance and the People's Redemption Party in Adamawa State have accused the federal government agencies in the state of compromising the electoral process to ensure the emergence of Senator Aishatu Binani as the next governor by every means. The spokesman of the four political parties and governorship candidate of the SDP, Mr. Umar Ado, told journalists in Yola that the four parties have lost confidence in the entire electoral process. The New Nigeria People's Party governorship candidate in Ogun State, Mr. Olufemi Ajadi, is calling on the police and other security operatives to ensure adequate security ahead, during and after Saturday's governorship and state assembly elections. He made the call while addressing journalists at a media parley in Abeokuta, where he condemned attacks on some INEC ad hoc staff at some polling units across the state during the presidential and national assembly elections.
I want to advise them to be careful, to not just put our children into danger.
The Accord Party in Rivers State has assured electors in the state that its putting the people first campaign mantra will be its bond if the party wins Saturday's governorship election. Accord Party's governorship candidate Dumo Lolo Briggs gave the assurance at the grand finale of its campaign held on Thursday in Abonima, Akukutori local government. Dumo Lolo Briggs says the party is confident of victory at the polls following the huge support from the Rivers people, who he noted are desirous of a government that will prioritize their welfare and industrialize the state.
You know that when I say a thing, you know that I will do it. You know that when I say, look, that I'm committed to something, that I'm committed to it. And in and out of season, you know that I have a fantastic heart for the people.
A civil society organization, Voter Drive Coalition, is asking the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to utilize the Beavers machine and ensure prompt arrival of electoral materials to avoid the mistakes experienced in the 2023 presidential election. In a press conference in Abuja, the coordinator of the group, Mr. Godbless Otubore, says the 2023 presidential election should be a wake-up call for a better governorship and House of Assembly poll. And those are your political roundup stories. It's back to you, Sheon.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for the political roundup. And there you have it. You've been up to date, everyone. Let's get into some of the conversation for today. But let's touch base with Rivers State, where the governor there, Nyesom Wike, has raised an alarm over what he calls an attempt by notable politicians in the state to use armed thugs in uniform in police and military uniform to terrorize voters during Saturday election. Mr. Wike asked the police and other security agencies to rise up to the challenge and tighten up security on all loose ends. He gave that press conference earlier today in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, just about a few minutes away when he gave that press conference. Take a listen to some portion of that press conference by the governor of River State.
Through entrepreneurship and vocational programs for youths and women,
Prime Staff of the Nigerian Army and the General Officer commanding the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army Port Harcourt and requested that no military personnel is released to any politician to interfere with next Saturday's elections in River State. Furthermore, we have noticed that the anti-terrorism unit of the State Police Command continue to provide VIP security services to politicians in defense of the Inspector General's order to withdraw all police personnel attached to VIPs during the election. We therefore require the Inspector General of Police to enforce his order by ensuring that all political leaders are restricted to their polling units and prevented from moving about with police escort. Igbos and Rivers people have lived harmoniously together for decades as brothers and sisters without any issues. We will continue to appreciate our Igbo brothers and friends as among the most significant investors and contributors to the development of River State.
Governor of River State, Nyesom Wike, there earlier today. Of course, there are preparations, and INEC, we understand now, have been distributing election materials across the different parts of the country. Some of those who we have monitored for you from Adamawa State in the northeastern region of the country. You can see there for yourself what the deployment looks like. This is Adamawa State. The security agency officials are standing by to protect these materials for onward distribution across the northeastern state. And from there, we take you to Kaduna State in the northwestern region. Similar scenario playing out. We find party agent, INEC officials awaiting the distribution of the materials. They're already being boxed, as you can see. And so they're being identified. Don't forget that these materials are codified already based on local government areas and polling units. They're polling unit specific and local government specific. So we move to the southern part of the country in Oyo, southwest Nigeria. This is the Central Bank office in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. That is the point where the materials are being first collected before they are being now sent out to other parts of the state. You see the documentation being done by officials of INEC and some of those who will be ensuring that the process goes on well. And Imo State in the southeast now, although there won't be a governorship election in Imo State, it will be a state House of Assembly elections, but then they are preparing and materials are being distributed also, and the boxes are ready to be ferried out. And now to the south-south region in Cross River State. Now you can see the bulky local government materials clearly seen there, and some of the booklets that are going to be used for this election. Of course, the documentation of the materials are also going to be clearly identified. All right, then, that's what we have for you in terms of monitoring of the distribution activities of INEC. We will be going to Niger State in Minna, where the APC governorship candidate, a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Muhammad Bago, will be joining us to tell us about his governorship aspiration and his ambition as we head towards the election. We will be going to him just in a moment as soon as we're ready and clear with the signal then. Well, let's look at what happened about 2 weeks ago in the first round of the election. And let's look ahead to 2 days' time when the governorship election will be holding in 28 states and 36 states of the Federation will be having the House of Assembly elections. But one organization in Nigeria that has had its eyes on the process is the Nigerian Bar Association. And they said that they will monitor, they will be a friend to INEC when needs be, and they will be looking across the shoulder of the electoral umpire for them to do the right thing. I'm being joined by the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Yakubu Mekia, who is live with us here in Abuja today. Thank you so much, and it's good to see you.
Thank you. Good evening, Sean.
You were here before the presidential election, and if you look at that conduct of that election, there is so much expectations. But if you assess what INEC did, how would you assess INEC in that election?
Okay, so thank you very much, Sharon, for the question. It's important for me to, in answering this question, state briefly what the Nigerian Bar Association has done and is also doing towards the next election. The Nigerian Bar Association has 128 branches across the country. And in addition to that, we have over 1,000 of our members that have been duly accredited by INEC to observe the election. And in addition to that, and that is why I talked about the 128 branches, we have all the chairmen and the secretaries of the branches. They are under instruction, together with all the members of their branches that either went to cast their votes on the day of the last election, or would be going to cast their votes also in the forthcoming election. In the states where these elections would happen, of course, it's virtually all the states, except that the governorship election, it's with respect to
all the states except FCT will be having elections.
Exactly. So we have those number of people observing the election. So it is based, and we have a situation room at the NBA house here in Abuja on 101 Muhammadu Buhari Way. That is where we have our men receiving reports from across the country. And so whatever we've done and whatever we are still going to do would be on the basis of the reports that we receive from the field of people that have gone there, the first-hand experience of what they witness in the polling units in the course of either observing the elections or casting their votes as members of the legal profession. So we saw that in the last election, there was delay in the deployment of materials and personnel to their respective polling units. Some local governments did not even see any of the polling units, any of the polling materials arrive until the following day, the 26th. And that caused a lot of agitation. That also created a lot of suspicion in the minds of the people, because if you remember, at the run-up to this particular election, there were all sorts of suspicion whether we are going to have the election or not, and so that we could have instances of that nature. The delay in the supply of materials actually heightened the suspicion about whether or not we're going to have that election at all. So, and then we saw also some of the things. I came here and I did talk about the fact that the BVAS machine, which is part of the innovations of the 2022 Electoral Act, is actually a game changer. And so there was a lot of expectation that was hinged around the use of the BVAS.
But did it change the game at all?
It did to an extent. It did to an extent, because so you see that everything revolves around the use of the BVAS, in the sense that some of the electoral infractions that we saw, they only happened because people didn't understand the change that had come on board with respect to the use of BVAS. So every BVAS is loaded with the registered voters in that particular unit, and it is only those that are accredited in that polling unit using the BVAS machine alone that are allowed to vote. So when you see the results eventually that would come from the polling units, the material by which to test the veracity or the authenticity of the result that you have seen is the BVAS machine, or the report from BVAS. So the discontent that we had across the country is with respect to the failure of INEC to instantaneously upload the results to their own data bank, which was something that was promised by INEC, and that caused a lot of agitations, and people were displeased about it, and to some extent also affected the confidence of the public.
Let's clarify. Let's get some clarity and some form of legal education on this matter. There's an argument on what the compliance level of INEC in that respect, the IREF portal, and I mean, we were speaking with one of the national commissioners of INEC saying, look, the obligation of INEC is to get these results written on from EC8A, that the other layer of transmitting it is just another layer which does not take away the sanity, the authenticity, and the veracity of the process itself. But how concrete in law, or how backed is the IREF or the transmission of that result under the present legal regime?
Well, Sharon, I would ask that you excuse me from making or profiling any legal opinion on that issue, because there are already matters pending in court in this respect, and I wouldn't want to speak to any of the issues that are sub judice right now, But what I can say is that the issue of authenticity or the validity of a process and all of the things that you need to do in law must also be taken in the context of what you need to do in order to carry the public along.
So apologies, sir. So what I was trying to get out of you is that the issue of IREF is not only in the realm of promise, it's also in the realm, is under obligation and the duties as prescribed by law. Is it?
Well, that is also asking me to render an opinion.
So the question is...
Because if you say it is this way that you have put it, then the next question is what will be the consequence? And then I would have delved into the issue.
The meat of the matter, yes, which I wouldn't...
So what I was trying to say is that whatever INEC has to do in complying with the law itself, it is important that you not only comply with the law, but give the public the confidence that you actually did so, to earn the confidence of the public to believe that you have done so, or that you have done everything possible to make sure that you have complied with the law. That is the only time that the public would accept the outcome of the results of the process that you have deployed in the conduct of the election. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Whatever you do, absent the confidence of the public in the process, then the result would not be accepted. It may have satisfied the requirement of the law, but if there is anything that would affect or create suspicion in the mind of the public such that it would think that that process was tampered with, even though that wasn't what happened, it would generally affect the view of the election.
So if you weigh it right now, even you, I could feel, I mean, if there's a way to gauge body language, your enthusiasm and your expectations before the presidential election was very high. But I'm not sure it's at the same level compared to the last time as of now. So has INEC in any way lost that kind of, the expectation and the kind of trust, the public trust that they had before the presidential election?
I will talk about my expectation. I still believe that INEC can do more or better than what it did in the last election held on the 25th. And I can say so because I was also an observer. I went around the Federal Capital Territory, and before then, the Thursday before the election on the 25th of February 2023, we did not see the sort of deployment of electoral materials like we have seen this time around, preceding the 18th of March election for the governorship and the state houses houses of assemblies that where elections will be held in this on Saturday the 18th. We haven't seen that. So what that tells me is that whatever lapses that we saw in the elections held on the 25th of February 2023, INEC is deliberately doing what it needs to do to deal with those issues. That is why, in the prelude to this conversation, we saw how that electoral materials are being deployed in several places across the country, which we didn't see before the elections of the 25th of February 2023. So I believe that INEC has learned some lessons from the last elections, and that they are taking steps to correct all of those things going into the election of the 18th of March, 2023.
Just give me a moment. We'll try to clear that for a moment. Let me go virtually. Just apologies for that, Mr. President. Let's go to Niger State, where the APC governorship candidate, Mr. Mohamed Bago, is standing by to speak with us. Thank you so much, Honorable Bago, for joining us this evening. How is the campaign going? It's the last day and the very last moment for campaigns, but how are things shaping up for you?
Very well, Sean. How are you?
I'm well.
Okay, our campaigns are on top gear. In fact, I had to squeeze time to talk to you today because I know you're also important, and I need to talk to the world, let the world know what we're doing in Niger State, and that's why I decided to take a break and talk to you.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate the time that you've taken. I know it's a very difficult time for politicians to pull out of the campaign, but it's also equally very good for Nigerians on this platform to hear you and know what exactly you plan for the people of the state. Niger State is presently under the control of the APC, but then is also in the north-central region of the country that there are a lot of agitations, there are a lot of talks, there are a lot of challenges, security, economic issues. But you're a member of the House of Representatives. Why do you want to become a governor of Niger State?
Okay, thank you very much. As a Nigerite, it's my fundamental human right to vote and to be voted for. A new Niger means a lot to us. We want to transform Niger State. We want to bring the youth revolution. We want to bring a digital economy.
All right, seems to be an outage in the network there with him. But Honorable, can you still hear me? All right.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Please go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
We want to open Niger to the world. You know, Niger State is sitting on 76,000 square to cultivate up to 2,000 square kilometers of arable land. So Niger State is an agrarian state, and we want to be able to explore our opportunities in agriculture and be able to feed Niger State and feed Nigeria and feed the world. You know, the total paddy production of rice in Niger State constitutes 80% of what is produced in Nigeria. So Niger is a rice state. Secondly, Niger State has 4 hydropower dams, and these dams have not been used for irrigation. So it's our intention to come, the overflow from the dams, create irrigation dams, and also be able to provide all their agri production in crop production. That is that. Then again, we have not been able to tap very well into fishing. You know, because of all these rivers we have around everywhere in the state, fishing is supposed to be a major preoccupation in agriculture. But our people, unfortunately, have not been able to do that very well. So this is why we are thinking that when we come, we'll give a revolution to agriculture in Niger State.
So before we go into the economy, I know that just as the nation Nigeria, Niger State also has its challenge of security. Just a few days ago, there are reports of terrorists killing some persons, including a military officer and some security operatives. A pregnant woman was part of those who have been killed. This is a major concern. Niger State has experienced some terrorist operations and activities. Niger State has experienced some banditry activities. In the first place, the major duty and perhaps the primary role of government is to protect the people of the state. should you be elected, what are your plans? And we want specific plans now on what you need to, what you want to do in securing properties and lives in Niger State.
Yeah. First and foremost, we have to play two ways, kinetic and non-kinetic. We'll give emphasis to non-kinetic approach to solving security issues. First, we'll bring local authorities into governance, full governance, to see the traditional institutions are brought in so that we have a census of people who live within our communities, very importantly. Secondly, we need also to empower through the traditional institutions, again, our people at the rural areas, so that they are not lured into these issues. Then thirdly, we're talking to the Fulani, which these issues that we're talking about insecurity are mostly around the Fulani people. Their cattle are being rustled. They are also being the people in charge of all those vices. So we want to create a Niger Ranger, a ranger to protect our forest, and we'll give it in the hands of these Fulani, equip them, give them necessary training, and that is what we're thinking. Yeah.
So if you look at Niger State as is bordered by Kwara, Kogi, and several other states along that axis. So it's been boxed in that manner, and it also has a little bit of a foreign border on the other side. So there are issues of border control, and which is a federal government purview. But there are other issues about the handshake that you see seamlessly. There are states between Kwara and Niger State that there are communities that there are satellite communities of Kwara and Niger State that you almost find it difficult to identify which is Niger, which is Kwara. So there is a need for collaboration. But that is what we've seen that has been very difficult, except for states like Kebbi and Lagos State, that you see a collaboration in terms of agriculture, and they started producing rake rice. But give us an understanding in terms of security, what you are hoping to do in protecting the borders, the border communities, because these are the communities that you hear a lot of agitations of insecurity. They are being attacked, and those attackers go back easily, and they find it difficult to identify those who have attacked them.
Yeah, most of the border communities are mostly forest, where there used to be national parks, there used to be reserves, and terrorists have taken over these parks. So it's our intention to collaborate with neighboring states by creating state border patrol. Very, very importantly, we also want to deploy technology in terms of C4I, to be able to see exactly what is happening within the borders. Very, very importantly. However, we cannot just fold our hands and say it's a federal government responsibility, and that is why we are thinking, as a state, we must take charge of our state. And I know some years ago, some states in the Southwest were able to come up with a structure and an architecture of Amonte Okun, which was relatively, helped them to secure the borders between their states. So this is what we're thinking. We'll have a collaboration with states that are already having an existing border patrol.
Honorable,
those that don't have,
Honorable Bago,
yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a specific question. I'm bothered about the issue of security. And anybody from Niger State who is watching tonight would like to know what you have. And I'm going to give a specific example. I don't know if you know Kuta camp. Schools around this area have now been converted into IDP camps. These schools, school pupils are not able to go to school because of Boko Haram incessant attacks on them. And I'm still staying on the issue of security and what you hope to do to put a permanent end. There is a fear of even going back, to trade, fear to go back to school by pupils. Parents are finding it difficult to send their children to school. Some of them have even been displaced from their school, and schools have been converted into the IDP camp. Immediately, say for example, within the very first 100 days in office, some of these schools and communities have been badly battered by Boko Haram. What are your specific plans for them? All right. We seem to have lost connection with him. I say, have with me President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Mekiao, here in our studio. But we'll take a quick break, and apologies for that again. But we'll take a break. So when we come back, we'll talk more about the election of Saturday. What do you need to know as far as that election is concerned? Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back.
Ogun State is at a crossroad. We need a leader who is committed to building a better future for all. One who will provide strategic infrastructure, develop quality and entrepreneurial people, catalyze a strong and resilient economy, and create functional and livable communities. We need a leader who can take us in a new direction, who can think again about the future of Ogun State. We need a responsible and accountable government that puts the people first, committed to transparency, accountability, and good governance. It's time to think about the future of Ogun State. Honorable Dr. Oladipupo Adebutu is the man for the moment. He's a man of action. He knows that the people of Ogun State deserve better, and he's committed to making a real difference. Lado 2023 is a movement for a better Ogun State. Join the movement today and let us work together to create a prosperous and thriving Ogun State. Think again. Think Ogun State.
It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run, so you look away the other way. Concerns you, either kill love, either kill dreams, either land people for jail, war against drug abuse.
Ebonyi State needs a great man of integrity and performance potential to deepen the prospects of development created by the divine mandate administration of Governor Umahi. Right Honorable Francis Ogbonnawifuru is the man. He is a man of proven passion for service and zeal to deliver in his mandate, character and unity of purpose to explore the potentials of Ebonyi State in education and healthcare, ensure economic regeneration through industrialization, business system integration, and guarantee self-reliance and self-sufficiency through entrepreneurship and vocational programs for youths and women. Vote APC. Vote Right Honorable Francis Ogbonnawifuru for Governor, Ebonyi State. Vote all APC candidates. Vote a team that will tackle insecurity and poverty. Vote a man that will ensure citizens' participation in the economic development agenda of the state. Vote for equity. Vote for accountability. Vote Wifuru for governor. He is the only governorship candidate that met the requirements of Charter of Equity and Needs of the People. APC.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you see as it be now, they call me but no be me show. That's how some business owners will have a different name on their business account from the actual business name. Listen, don't let your customers be suspicious of your business. Sign up a business account with Money Points and get an account in your business name in minutes.
Whatever it takes to make sure you have a business account opened in your business name, we'll do it as your sure banker. Open a bank account in your business name with Money Point.
Which kind wire you gonna need to light up your life? Oh man, the quality wire. Now which kind cable you gonna need to light up your house? Oh man, the quality cable. Coleman quality. Coleman wire. Coleman durable. come and be the C-O-L-E-M-A-N. Quality, quality, to the bull, oh yeah. Now come and be the Baba.
Ogun State is at a crossroad. We need a leader who is committed to building a better future for all. One who will provide strategic infrastructure, develop quality and entrepreneurial people, catalyze a strong and resilient economy, and create functional and livable communities. We need a leader who can take us in a new direction, who can think again about the future of Ogun State. We need a responsible and accountable government that puts the people first, committed to transparency, accountability, and good governance. It's time to think about the future of Ogun State. Honorable Dr. Oladipupo Adebutu is the man for the moment. He's a man of action. He knows that the people of Ogun State deserve better, and he's committed to making a real difference. Lado 2023 is a movement for a better Ogun State. Join the movement today and let us work together to create a prosperous and thriving Ogun State. Think again. Think Ogun State.
Experience the opulence and security of Swiss Trade doors. With over 30 years experience, exclusive with a touch of history and craftsmanship, Swiss Trade doors are made from the finest ancient aga and ivory wood. A range of exclusive armored doors, elegant interior doors, carefully crafted by world-renowned architects and engineers. At Swiss Trade, a door is much more, plus premium quality onyx stones and luxury interiors. Visit Swiss Trade today or call now. Swiss Trade, blend of beauty and security.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. The president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Mekia, is still with us right here. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much indeed. And we have virtually been speaking with the governorship candidate of the APC in Niger State, Mr. Muhammad Bago, who is also a member of the House of Representatives. So before the outage of the connection there, I was asking your specific plan on those communities that are being battered by the activities of Boko Haram. Some schools are permanently shut down and classrooms turned into IDP camps. And I'm saying, by way of timeline and specific action, within the first 100 days, should you be elected, what would you be doing?
Yeah, we are going to protect every inch of Niger State. We have a security blueprint, and we are going to implement it fully. However, those students who have not been given opportunity to go to school because of these issues, we have designed a program to do mobile learning in the first 100 days. We'll get to their communities and make sure they learn from home temporarily. And those people in the IDPs, we'll make sure we return them back to their homes. You know, we'll reclaim. They are not claimed. They are just ravaged. So we'll rebuild those communities and take the people back to their communities for sure. We have a bridge that links Kaduna State to Niger State in that place you're talking about, in that Shiroro area, Arena. And that is where we're going to concentrate on. First, we're going to cut it off, bring it down, and make sure we cut the movement of people on that side so that our people can settle while we face the other issues technically.
Now, there are it's estimated that there are over 700,000 out-of-school children in Niger State. That is a lot of numbers of students or children who are doing nothing, but they're on the streets. This is not a good figure. What are you going to be doing specifically on this?
I'm not sure of the numbers. However, even if it's 1% of that number, it is not good. So we have made it as a policy statement compulsory for basic education to be free and compulsory. And this we are going to implement. We'll take people back to school, they must go and learn, and we're going to introduce vocational training again for people that are learning, so that while they're on holiday, they will be equipped technically to be able to be self-sufficient.
So let's look at the economy of Niger State. And you've spoken about the economic potentials of that state. In fact, even in the region, Niger State is perhaps, if my statistics is right, it's probably the state in Nigeria that has the largest land mass. So enormous land space that you have there in Niger State. What are you going to be doing with that?
Agriculture, farming, mostly farming. We're going to go into mechanized farming. We're going to cultivate all our land, and we're going to make sure that our dams become irrigation dams, and we're going to make sure that we provide for our people so that everybody will be agrarian. It's very important. You need to understand again where Niger is positioned in Nigeria. We have we're very close to FCT, and we'll use that nearness and that the closeness to FCT and create a new market, a new hub where business will thrive.
What kind of crop?
Honorable
Bago, what kind of crop are you looking at? What kind of commodity are you looking at?
Okay, basically the most important of all is rice. Then we have, Niger State has the largest shea nut in the world. So shea butter, secondly, maize, and guinea corn.
So so when you have some of these products, when you mention shea butter, it just reminds me of the dairy center of America, which is Wisconsin. As soon as you're landing in that city, for example, in Green Bay, you will see the enormous farms of dairy, of the plantation. So if you are planning what you said is a major produce in Niger State, and you're thinking about the produce that can be gotten out of that crop, and what are you going to, how much of export, how much of earnings, how much of revenue are you planning to get from it?
You see, because we understand that we are the strongest in shea nut production as a state, we will need to sit down and first aggregate the number of shea trees we have, very importantly. Then we will be able to collect these shea nuts as a state, through our grains board or through our investment promotion council, and now process it to semi-finished product before export. What happens now is that these shea nuts are taken away from our people directly and taken somewhere for processing. So Niger is going to come as an intermediary between those people who are picking them, who are producing, who are farming them, and people are exporting them. So that's where we're going to make the necessary revenue.
All right, let's close in this manner. From a revenue of just slightly over 1 billion in IGR in 2020 to about 10 billion just a few months ago, how much more can you do? And people of Niger State would like to know and how you want to achieve this. What are the figures you're working with?
Okay, the figures we are working with, 1 billion is too small for a figure. And we intend in the first 6 months, after we put everything in place, we'll start to generate 20 billion monthly.
All right. Thank you so much indeed, Honorable Muhammad Bago, for joining us tonight, the APC governorship candidate in Niger State. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, yeah. Let's get back to our conversation with the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Mikel. So, if you look at it, I was looking at the statement that you sent a few days ago. Are there any positives that we can take out of the last election? We're looking ahead of Saturday now. Any positives from the last cycle of election?
Yes, thank you, Shuyen. But before I go into that, I'd like to thank you for that compliment that you gave to me, making reference to the partnership between Kebbi State and Lagos State in the production of lake rice.
Yeah.
I am from Kebbi, so when you said that, I felt so elated. And
I'm of the view that every state in the country should have something that is identified and known for. In such a way, the spirit and the letter of our Constitution also can be achieved, that every state of the federation has some level of economic independence.
Absolutely.
And just what happened in its Second Republic.
Absolutely. And thank you for identifying Kebbi and Lagos as the states that are taking the lead in that
You're advertising your state.
So thank you for mentioning it. I didn't know you would, but having done that, I mean, it's only just right for me to latch onto it.
All right.
Now talking about positives from the last election, quite a lot of them. And irrespective of the lapses that we've seen in the last election, there are so much to take from the last election. For the first time in my own assessment, that you cannot have any arrogance of any political party going in for the determination of who becomes what in the National Assembly, for instance. You have to align with other political parties. Labour Party, the People Democratic Party, the APC. There are about 8 political parties that have won elections into the parliament, into the National Assembly. So, and you see a sitting governor losing election. My own brother, who is from my state, my own governor also lost his election. Many of those governors lost their elections. The president-elect lost Lagos. That was almost unthinkable. The vice presidential candidate for the PDP lost his state to Labour Party as a sitting governor. The president, who is of the ruling party, also lost his own state to PDP. I mean, a lot of these things that we never thought would happen, all happened. But irrespective of that, you know, we forgot about all of these things and became a bit emotional about what has gone on. I think we shouldn't just allow some of these emotions to becloud some of the positives that we have gotten in this election. And I am one person who believes that we make progress steadily. It may be slow, but once we make any progress, no matter how little, we should be able to acknowledge it, appreciate it, and build on it. And I think that we have made a lot of progress from the election held on the 25th of February 2023. And that should actually energize Nigerians to come out and also vote in the elections coming up on Saturday. Because this is a big task that only we Nigerians individually and collectively can perform.
And I'm going to also avert your mind to not only the presidential election, but the National Assembly election.
Yes.
And on the lane on which you were, is the dramatic twist in our election, the first time in our electoral process, on our political history, that you have 8 political parties having a seat in the National Assembly election.
Exactly.
Did you ever see that coming?
Never, never. That is quite revolutionary. I mean, there has not been, in my own assessment, such a revolutionary election like the one we held on the 25th of February, the presidential and National Assembly elections. It has never happened in this country. And so we must give kudos to all of them that participated in the process. We must give kudos to Nigerians that came out to express their franchise. I mean, if anybody were to be emotional about the result, I have someone who is so dear to me that lost the election. I should have condemned the election on the basis of that alone. But no, I cannot do that. I cannot close my eyes to the positives that we got in the election on the basis of my emotion. Because it is not about me, it's not about a few people, it's about all of us in this country. And we are looking, I mean, the interest of this country is bigger than the interest of either a political party or any particular individual, or even a group of political parties. Each and every one of those who came out to contest for the election, I believe they came out to contest for the election because of their desire to transform this country for the good of the people. And if that is the motivation, then we should sit down, sit back, introspect, and see what is it that they've been able to do towards that, achieving that particular objective. Looking at the fact that all that Nigerians are looking for is justice at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who wins the election, but whoever wins the election, what is he going to hand over to Nigerians? That is what Nigerians are looking for. And that is why I would say to Nigerians, still have confidence in this one institution that the Constitution has given to us to conduct this very important process in our country, come out in spite of the lapses. I know that many are disenchanted about what has happened, but we should not throw out completely, like they talk about the water and the baby, or how they put it, but we should recognize what we have achieved in the last election, and it should motivate us to come out and also determine those who become governors in our states and those who also would become members of the state houses of assembly in our state, because those are the people who will be making laws for us.
Is there any lesson for the political class, considering the revolution that you think happened in that past election?
Yes. Well, for the political class, it is clear that the time of those of impunity is long gone. The time has come for the political class to begin to recognize the interest of the people, because there is a lot of awareness with the people. Long gone are the days when you take advantage of the illiteracy of the Nigerian public. Nigerian public, even if they are not educated, they are well informed about their rights, and they go about choosing who they desire to lead them on the basis of their own independent assessment of those people. So the time has come for the political class to be people-minded in what they do, because that is the only thing that is going to drive us to the place where we all desire to be as a nation. And that is why for us as a Nigerian, as the Bar Association, all that we are called to do, number one, we are not partisan, is to provide guidance. And I'm happy to say that even in the judgment of the Supreme Court that we saw with respect to the Naira redesign, that suit that was filed in the Supreme Court reckoned with the letter that the Nigerian Bar Association wrote to the governor of Central Bank. It was part of the documents that were used to file that action. And so the Nigerian Bar Association is happy to come back on track to begin to provide direction to the people and support the fight of the cause to serve the people of this country. And we've done that in that case. We are prepared to do this in the case of the conduct of this election. And we are saying, please have confidence in the courts. It is the only civil means by which any grievance can be settled and redress can be taken. The courts have done it. I mean, look at the people-friendly decision that came from the Supreme Court in that matter. And people applauded it.
Supreme Court established its position as a court of policy.
It's a policy court. It is driven by the interest, socio-economic benefits for the people, and that is the rationale behind the decision of the Supreme Court in that case.
I'm going to take you quickly to one aspect of our election that really bothers a lot of people, and is the role money plays, the issue of money politics. Was money embarrassed in this election, considering the lesson that you said politicians and the political class need to have learned from this election?
Yes. In any case, with what we saw, the difficulty, and I'm not trying to glamorize the difficulty or difficulties and the hardship that Nigerians went through as a result of that Naira redesign policy. Already a decision has been taken on that. But you could see that there was no money. There was no money. So yes, you can say that even those who had put their hope on money now have realized that you can actually do without money. So there are other things you should begin to look at. How do you treat the people? What respect do you have for the people? How have you related with them? What have you then done on your own to better their lot before you now step out to say you want to seek for any elective office? These are the considerations that Nigerians are beginning to put in place, that are beginning to deploy in deciding who leads them. So please jettison money. That is corruption. And what Nigerians have done this time around, in spite of the difficulties that was brought to bear on them as a result of that policy, there was no money, they couldn't move around, and all of that, they couldn't even feed the family, and all of those things that we experienced as a result of that. It is very clear that you cannot use money anymore to determine your ascension into any political office in this country.
The term hire and fire as the duty of a voter seems to come to bear now. That if you do well, they hire you. If you don't do well, they fire you.
They fire you without blinking.
So, I mean, talk to us about And I'm taking you gradually to start giving us what we should be looking at ahead of the governorship election. But there is an influence in the way Peter Obi, for example, brought into the process. That those who never thought that they were going to ever run for political office, whose name were enlisted, the case of one person who was said to say he was sleeping when they told him that he had won an election.
Yes, yes.
I mean, what do you make of that kind of scenario? How an individual could be a force in such a way that it caused a lot of stir in the political atmosphere? What kind of lesson is this for those who think that they must belong in they must be in the process before they can be part of it? What kind of encouragement for those who want to go into politics?
Yeah. So that is why I said in taking the positives from the elections of the 25th, we also have to commend the players, the gladiators on that field. And making reference to Peter Obi, for instance, he came with a momentum in this election that we have never seen before. Now, you go into a contest like this to win. You want to breast the tape of victory first so that you'll be declared the president. But that has not happened. And I'm without prejudice to the right of those who contested to go and challenge the result as it is in court to determine whether or not they are the ones who should have been declared. I would like to say that someone like Peter Obi, and of course even Atiku Abubakar, of course Kwankwaso, all of those that participated in the process must be commended for the kind of force that they brought in the political space that brought about this revolution. There are people who never printed posters.
And they won election.
And they won the election.
Some of them will be in the National Assembly.
They rode on the back of this momentum, this drive, this revolution.
That they did on Kwankwaso too. There are a lot of
exactly.
NNPP had given a lot of people platforms.
Many did that. Many did that. And it's all about the confidence that people have reposed around the individuals, independent of other influences, which are really not even encouraging, which are things that they shouldn't do, like the use of money and all. But so people should never give up. People should never give up. Principles should be maintained. And respect for people should always be demonstrated. We have seen that these are values that people look out for. And these are values that leaders must have in order to be able to win the hearts of the people, to propel them into the position of leadership.
Now, Mr. President, let me ask you, what is your biggest fear ahead of Saturday? Do you think people will be coming out compared to what we saw in presidential election?
Well, I don't want to say fear, but I just want to admonish people to come out. I want people I want to beg Nigerians to come out to do this business of electing our leaders, irrespective of what has happened. It's possible that someone who had a particular expectation in the last election, that did not happen. We may, as a result of that, see voter apathy in that respect. But I don't want us to give up. And that's why I keep making reference to the positives from that last election. We haven't lost everything. We haven't lost everything. Even the expectations that you had. If that did not happen, go back and take stock of the things that we are talking about now as the successes arising from the election of the 25th of February. You have every reason to go into this election. Don't forget that, Sheung, last year, we woke up one day and all foreign nationals were running out of this country. They moved out with their pets. Heightened panic and concerns about security. Many Nigerians have already moved their families out of this country for the fear that there would not be a country for us to even hold an election. Here we are, not even thinking about an election, but that we held the presidential election and the National Assembly election. It is something to be grateful to God for. It is something that is worth celebrating, in spite of the lapses. And I'm saying this without prejudice to the rights of the people, you know, to ventilate their grievances.
We are due for a break, but if there is one quick one, if there is one big lesson that you need to tell INEC tonight, what would that be? One thing that you think they need to watch out for ahead of governorship election of Saturday?
INEC must deploy materials on time. And INEC must know that no matter how beautiful, no matter the level of compliance with the provisions of the law, it is important that the confidence that had been generated in INEC before the election be sustained, so that people would have confidence in the process, people would accept the process and the outcome of the process of the election, and they will be happy that what they have gone out there to demonstrate actually is a reflection of what has been seen in the outcome. So I would urge INEC to make sure that they go out there on time. People shouldn't be given any reason. Whatever INEC needs to do to sustain the confidence of the public in the process, INEC should do it. And it is also important that for those that have been found wanting in the discharge of their responsibilities by INEC, it should be clear that INEC is beginning to take steps to deal with them administratively, and where there are infractions of law in terms of commission of crime, that also their cases are reported to the police for them to be prepared for prosecution.
All right, just in a moment, let me go on another break. We'll take another break, and when we come back, I will be checking in with another governorship candidate. This time around, obedient and campaigning for him. He's not on the bill of the Labour Party. How is that coming around? He was a former minister under Olusegun Obasanjo. We'll be going to Southeast region of the country. Of course, the president of the NBA is still with me. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
You gon' need to light up your light, oh man, the quality wire. Now which kind cable you gon' need to light up your house, oh man, the quality cable. Coleman quality, Coleman wire, Coleman durable, Coleman cable, Coleman canto, Coleman cable for any kind of project. Coleman, now Coleman be the come and see, now come and be the Baba. Won't light up your life, now come and be the Baba. Now come and be the C-O-L-E-M-A-A. Quality, durable, oh yeah. Now come and be the Baba. You always stay in my mind. I did me gone. I cherish you with my life. Don't worry yourself, oh. Everything go day alright. And if anybody try you, know it's gonna be on side.
Show strong love to your favorite one this season by gifting a parcel of land through Adron Strong Love promo. Enjoy 40% discount on all our land and spread the balance within 24 months without gift. Or enjoy 30% discount and spread the balance within 36 months with gift items such as love hamper, power bank, electric fan, cake, gas burner, microwave, and lots more. Strong Love promo. My love for you is strong. Terms and conditions apply.
Adron Homes, making the incredible affordable. Ogun State is at a crossroad. We need a leader who is committed to building a better future for all. One who will provide strategic infrastructure, develop quality and entrepreneurial people, catalyze a strong and resilient economy, and create functional and livable communities. We need a leader who can take us in a new direction, who can think again about the future of Ogun State. We need a responsible and accountable government that puts the people first, committed to transparency, accountability, and good governance. It's time to think about the future of Ogun State. Honorable Dr. Oladipupo Adebutu is the man for the moment. He's a man of action. He knows that the people of Ogun State deserve better, and he's committed to making a real difference. Lado 2023 is a movement for a better Ogun State. Join the movement today and let us work together to create a prosperous and thriving Ogun State. Think again. Think Ogun State.
Experience the opulence and security of Swiss traders with over 30 years experience, exclusive with a touch of history and craftsmanship. Swiss traders are made from the finest ancient aga and ivory wood, a range of exclusive armored doors, elegant interior doors carefully crafted by world-renowned architects and engineers. At Swiss Trade, a door is much more, plus premium quality onyx stones and luxury interiors. Visit Swiss Trade today or call now. Swiss Trade, blend of beauty and security.
Ever since Bolu started using ULesson Hub, a lot of things has changed in his academic.
As a student, it's not only what you're taught at school that you should rely on. You have to find information in everywhere you can get it. One day I was watching a TV program, the advert of ULesson popped up. It caught my attention. So I downloaded the app. I made my first subscription in year 2020 and it really helped me a lot. My grade has changed. My grade has improved. And me myself, the perspective at which I look at things are now different.
I would recommend ULesson to other parents out there and other learners because ULesson app is very, very good and is very, very affordable.
My name is Mary Jolie and I am from Ogun State, but I'm based in Lagos. I've just recently taken a trip to Ibadan, and in returning, I decided to take the train. So I said, I'm not so sure, but I'm willing to try.
We thank God that the commencement and of this present administration, railway was at a very, very low ebb. And when they came, they took the bull by the horn.
And I'm really happy that I tried. This was probably the most seamless journey I've had since I've been in Nigeria. For example, the train left on time. I was not expecting it to leave on time. 8 a.m., we were on the move. I think it's an amazing alternative to being on the road, especially with just the traffic. It's quite intense, there's insecurity, and it would be amazing to see the government invest a bit more into more trains going into other cities and states. It would really free up the congestion that takes place on the road and leisure type of experience within Nigeria.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We've since been joined by the governorship candidate of APGA in Enugu State, a former minister, Mr. Frank Nweke Jr. Mr. Nweke, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I need to take a permission from the NBA president because, you know, virtually these days you never can tell what could happen with the connection. Please, I'll come back for your final thought on the program, but let me deal with the business of Enugu governance and the task of electing the next governor of the state. Mr. Nweke, it's good to see you. For someone who has been in the PDP, who perhaps, for some people said you ran away from politics for a long time, and now you are back. You came to APGA. Now we see obedience around some of the Southeast region that are that are campaigning for you. What a twist that is being. Does this give you any chance ahead of Saturday?
Thank you, Sean. It's good to see you. First of all, I need to correct the way you call that party. You said APGA. No, that's not what we call it here. We call it APGA.
APGA.
That's the way that our...
Oh, there. I hope what I thought is happening in your area has not just happened. Power outage, is it? I guess that's what happened. All right. Maybe I should give you a moment for that to be resolved, is it?
Give me a moment.
All right, I'll give you a moment. Let me just come to the NBA president to sort of give us your final thought on the way to go in this governorship election. If truly and truly everything must be done and done well to make this 2023 election meet expectations of Nigerians, not only on INEC, security is also one thing, and the citizenry, the voters are on one hand. What should we be looking out for on Saturday?
Well, number one, I talked about the need for us to encourage ourselves to come out and express our franchise. Number two, we've talked about INEC. INEC should, from the lessons learned in the last election, should deploy on time. All the things that are necessary to elicit the confidence of the public should be done, and should be done in such a way that it will persuade the public that, yes, that was actually done. It is very important. In the terms of security, there is also need for security to be provided around the people that are coming to express their franchise. We saw instances of harassment. People were, I mean, that was the case of the lady that was stabbed in Lagos, you know, and she still was as courageous to come back and vote. I commend her courage, and I mean, you don't have to be stabbed to express that kind of courage, but you can demonstrate that same courage in spite of what you feel.
Staying on cue, ensuring that the results are being captured and transmitted and all of that.
And transmitted, it should stay. I mean, INEC should do some things for the elderly. I mean, I went to polling units, you know, guide those elderly, make them comfortable, let them have the opportunity to vote first and all. And the police, I'm happy with what the Inspector General of Police has done from the clips that we watched. Here, the deployments that he has done and the instructions that he has given, movement restrictions, we've seen compliance in that respect in the last election. We expect to see that same level of
Just a moment, sir.
Yeah.
I understand that Mr. Nweke has since rejoined us. I mean, he's been with us, but what has been happening since I was born happened around him. That is power outage. Perhaps one of the things that anybody who wants to be in government needs to also be looking at fixing permanently. I mean, that should even be one of our problems in this age and time when the world is looking at some other problems. But in any case, I was asking you whether APUGA, your party, and the fact that obedience around your region are also talking about you. What a twist. You are a former minister under a PDP government. What are your chances? Does any of this scenario give you any hope of winning the election on Saturday?
Well, thank you so much, Shem. It's good to see you again. Absolutely. Well, for me, I believe that the obedient movement, you know, that we must look at it in the context of the philosophy of the obedient movement. I think the obedient movement, they are focused on capacity, they are focused on competence, they are focused on character, they are focused on commitment and passion. And I'm deeply honored to have their support. And I really believe that in the context of where we are today as a country, when we look at the critical challenges that confront us, whether it's at the national level, whether it's at the global level, whether it's at the state level, or even at the local government level, I think that it's about time that we became focused on individuals who come to the party prepared through their careers, who have the education, who have the exposure, who have the capacity, who have the competence, who have the character. And I mean, you know, Sean, well, you've known me, we've known each other through the years, and hopefully you would share the views of the obedient movement that in terms of the people who are running for governor today in Enugu, that any which way you want to look at it, whether it's from my time as a consultant to government on economic affairs in my early years in public service, to my time as state coordinator of the Community County Council, to my time as chief of staff, government house, to my time as federal minister of intergovernmental affairs and special duties, then as minister for youth development, and then later as minister for information and national orientation, and the last but not the least, but as minister for information and communication, or to my time as director general of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, or to my duties as a senior visiting fellow at the Lagos Business School, as a member of the faculty of the School of Politics, Policies and Governance, or to my work as associate professor at Gregory University, Uturu. I believe that there is no other candidate that brings this stellar background to the party. And so I believe that I'm the most prepared, I'm well positioned. And then the support of the obedience, actually, I think is most welcome.
Do you wish, Frank, do you wish you were in Labour Party? The kind of support you are getting from the obedience is ironic, isn't it? They've been supporting Labour Party. But do you wish you were in Labour Party with this support that they're giving you?
No, well, for me, you know, for me, I really believe that, you know, that I don't know how to put this, but I really think that One is, I believe I'm where I'm supposed to be. And thankfully, the entire thing is anchored on just individuals, who have the capacity, the competence, and the character, and not parties. How well have these parties served us? Look at our country today, for instance. Just look at our country. Look at where we are. Look at how divided we have become. Look at the level of insecurity. Just look at the state of our economy. Look at the state of our currency. Look at the state of the entire country. It's just terrible. So yet here we are. In saner climes, some of these people should not even show up. A party should not even show up in the first place. So here we are.
Let me ask, the people of Enugu State should look in your direction and vote for you. What are you going to be doing differently?
Thank you so much. Well, the reason why the Enugu should look in my direction is this. One is that I've come to the table very well prepared. I understand state administration, I understand the federal administration, I have the exposure. But more importantly, I am bringing leadership qualities that are unmatched. Number two is that my record of service is untainted, it's unimpeachable. This is clear. And I believe that everyone should have opportunity to speak for themselves. But this record of service can be verified independently and for us to see. The last but not the least is the fact that every opportunity I've had, whether it's at the state level, whether it's at the national level, I have brought my best efforts to bear. I have discharged my mandate or my work with responsibility, with passion, and with results. So, and I think that experience matters, especially the right experience, when this experience is coming from the right people who have the track record, people who have the discipline, people who have the fear of God. That is really what it is.
All right.
So the people of this they won't be burdened with any kind of scandals or fear that anything can happen or in the course of the government. No. And this is something I believe everybody should be mindful of.
We need to close now, and let me give you just about 15 seconds to on a final note. And if there is anything that can be in your way of winning the election of Saturday, what would that be? Oh, there. Just a moment where I thought that we could get the final thought. Let me give you the opportunity to do that. Do you have any final thought? Just in 10 seconds, if you have.
Yes. My final thoughts is to ask Nigerians to express confidence in this process and demonstrate that confidence in the process in coming out to vote. And for anyone that has any grievance, please repose confidence in the ability of the court to resolve the disputes.
All right.
And I wish all of us a wonderful outing on Saturday. The Nigerian Bar Association will be on standby across the country to observe this election, and we'll be coming back with our own assessment of the election.
President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Yakub Meka, thank you so much. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, thank you indeed. It's a pleasure having you, sir. And of course, unfortunately, we're not able to extract the final word from Mr. Frank Nweke Jr., who is the APGA governorship candidate in Enugu State. But that's how far we can go. The last bite of the campaign period ahead of Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow again. To everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'm Sean Okimale. God bless Nigeria.
Welcome to Elections 101 in 5, a show brought to you by IGA Africa and supported by the UNDP. On this show, we focus on the how and not who to vote. My name is Samson Itodo, and let's dive straight into it. What is the procedure for sorting, recording, and counting of ballots? Here is how some Nigerians answered this question when we asked them.
On election day, it wasn't as normal as they used to do it, but now we decided to stay. So we actually saw the way they actually opened the ballot boxes, then sorted it by themselves, before keeping each party separate. So when they kept each party separate, before they counted it party by party.
That's a good shot at a rather tough question. But that is why this show is here, to break it down for you. Understanding these steps will help you track and monitor the process on election day so your vote can count. So after voting has closed on election day, the presiding officer is expected to cancel all the unused ballot papers by crossing them out. Then he or she is required to sort out the ballot papers by party and thereafter loudly count the votes scored by each political party in the presence of you, the voter, the party agents, as well as accredited observers present at that polling unit. And when that is done, the presiding officer will endorse the word rejected on all rejected ballot papers or inscribe the words rejected but objected to if an objection to the rejection of the ballot paper is raised by a candidate or a polling agent on the day of elections. Now, the presiding officer can allow for a recount of votes on demand by a candidate or party agent who is present, provided that such a recount shall only be once. That is what the guidelines and the Electoral Act says. And so after these processes, what will the presiding officer then do? The presiding officer will be required to enter the scores of the candidates in both figures and words in the appropriate Form EC8 series. And in this case, it begins with Form EC8A, the primary result sheet or statement of result for that particular polling unit. And then cross-check that the scores of the candidates and the parties actually tally. After all these processes, the counting and the recording, the presiding officer will then sign, date, and stamp the appropriate form, the Form EC8A. And once that is done, he or she will announce loudly the votes scored by each political party to the hearing of everyone who is present at the polling unit. And then after that announcement, he or she would request the candidates or their party agents who are present at that polling unit to countersign on the result sheet. The refusal of any candidate or party agent to countersign the appropriate form or the result sheet shall not invalidate the result of the polling unit. And so after completing the result sheet, the EC8A, the presiding officer shall then complete another result sheet called the E60E, which is used to record the result and post them at the polling unit. So everyone can see the result for that particular polling unit posted on the wall. And once the posting has been done, because it's mandatory, it is required for the presiding officer to take the BVAS and take a snapshot of that result sheet, the Form EC8, and upload the result on the INEC election results viewing portal. As a voter, it's your duty to be vigilant to ensure all these processes are being implemented and the presiding officers comply with these processes because they are provided in the 2022 Electoral Act and the INEC guidelines. Thank you for watching. I am Samson Itodo. Remember, your vote can always make a difference. So please vote wisely. See you next time.
Democracy is the most acceptable system of government.
As we all know, we are on the march again to elect political leaders of our choice.
It is your civic right if you are of voting age and you have registered as a voter with your PVC. Go out and cast your votes following the election process.
Your votes and that of others can help shape a better future. Encourage others to go out and cast their vote for their preferred candidates.
Let's shun violence, selling, and buying of votes. That's the way to protect electoral civil space.
Misinformation and disinformation breed fake news that pose a problem to the integrity of elections. Don't start it. Don't spread it.
We can surely move this country forward by ensuring a free and fair election in a peaceful atmosphere. Cast your votes Protect it and make it count.
My fellow Ogun State indigenes and citizens will have a governor that has performed immensely, seeking re-election. I am focusing on what the present governor, Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun, MFR, has done in his last 4 years as the governor of this our precious state. The first time I will see a governor believing that government is a continuum, touching all the projects of his predecessor and ensuring that those projects are completed. Ishaya, according to his mantra, and of course Ishaya is all about Ogun State, he has done so well in infrastructure. If you want to confirm what he has done, the roofs are yellow all over the state. Education,